Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be watching a little time lapse of my Poland playthrough in Kaiserreich. So let's get into it. You know, I sped this up. It's probably like, I don't know, 40,000, not 40,000, around 7,000% speed up. But basically what I was doing this whole time was just, doing the whole setup. I was trying to get this, the nationalist revolt in Poland in Kaiserreich, and I tried to form the Slavic Union afterwards. Bit of a disappointment, but I'll talk about that at the end. So you see me going through the motions here. I'm trying to get Austrian and German influence down, and I'm trying to get down the influence of the monarchy. I'm also trying to prepare my army. They give you a lot of like cavalry and uh, armor buffs, but I just want mostly infantry here, except for the 4 divisions they give you, which you'll see me use those later on. Poland, they get a pretty powerful industry. I think I started off 1940 around the war. Second World War started with maybe 40, 50 factories. And, you know, it was a kind of difficult playthrough. I had to restart a couple of times, you know. So you might see some clips around here, some jumps around here, where I'm trying to keep up with everything. You see me set out the front lines and everything. I'm pretty sure there was a nationalist revolt that would also happen in Lithuania, but my revolt wouldn't pop until after that. So I'd be prepared for that. I also had to make sure that, the Russians wouldn't get to my border before they would get here, really. So I'm just going through this here. I captured Ponsen. I don't know how you say it with the tanks pretty much immediately. That allows me to take my focuses, which lets the nationalists secure power. Otherwise, you get cooed by the social conservatives. So right here, we're chasing down the rest of the Danubians and stuff, and we take a lot of Germany, a lot of Slovakia and Czechia, and we release a couple of them as puppets. The Germany puppet comes in pretty useful later. They have pretty low manpower, but they've let me cover my front, and I got pretty lucky ahead here because the Italians and the Romanians, which were a part of the Moscow Accord, created their own faction, which let me split up these two. Let me split up the Moscow Accord into 2 parts, basically, like Western Europe, which I could already control most of, as you can see here, pushing out the Commune of France. This is pretty easy. Once I got the Mountaineers down, if you don't want to do armor, I really just recommend going for Mountaineers instead and getting their all of their research and all of their doctrine. I also went with a superior firepower doctrine just because I was using a lot of support companies. I didn't have a lot of manpower, and the devs were really nice of you to give a lot of manpower buffs. I think you get up to something like, I don't know, 5-6% extra manpower with this, and you seem to hold off just a lot of naval invasions. I have to take a ton of time just to prep for the Russian invasion, and I think eventually I do join the Entente after this, which allows me to you know, have extra allies in the area. The division cap in this game, it kind of stops you from getting too many divisions, even though, I'm a pretty small country as a Finland. I think they should get rid of it for the player. I understand it for like lag and stuff, and I took a break for a second there. I know it's for lag, but I don't think it should apply to the player, just because like I'm trying to do stuff, you know what I mean? Like I'm playing as Poland. I got more than enough manpower to do all this stuff, and I just can't, So I'm just going through a lot of the motions here, trying to make sure that I'm, you know, I do take a couple of breaks here, just trying to make sure I can hold the line here, And I don't notice until later that the Dominion of India is invading through the stands. I think this is a pretty good run so far. I think beyond like 1940, early 1941, I think, when the Russians declared war on me, I didn't have to restart anymore. And I did not want to do an Iron Man game for this. I don't think you can actually, but you know what I mean. I'm just going through as much of this stuff as quickly as possible. The political power is really starting to tick up here. That was a big problem in the early game. And then I have to go back over to Western Europe to get rid of the Russian puppet, because, the puppets just aren't too reliable most of the time. I start using my Mountaineers to break through, basically, get a lot of encirclements out of the Russians, trying to lock in on this, just stopping their naval invasions and stuff. And it shouldn't be too long before I ultimately kind of beat them. And what I was trying to get towards here was to form the Slavic Union. You can only do that as the nationalist, which is why it's so important you don't get cooed. But to be honest, it was a bit of a disappointment overall. It just gives you extra puppets, I think, special kinds of puppets. Um, I thought it would make some sort of commonwealth, some sort of something like that, but it didn't, sadly. Um, so I'll just let the rest of the time lapse play out here. And that's the end of it. Um, I might leave a final image here. I don't know. And if I get 5 likes on this, then I'll I don't know. Comment if you want me to do anything. If I get 5 likes on this, I'll do another playthrough. I'll probably do one anyways. Just let me know what y'all think, and thanks for watching the video.